Insightful podcasts by informative hosts. Insights into Things, a podcast network. Welcome to Insights into Entertainment, a podcast series taking a deeper look into entertainment and media. Your hosts, Joseph and Michelle Whalen, a husband and wife team of pop culture fanatics, are exploring all things from music and movies to television and fandom.
Welcome to Insights into Entertainment. This is episode 112, Star Wars, Return of George Lucas. I'm your host, Joseph Whalen, and my cosmopolitan and sophisticated co-host, Michelle Whalen.
Where's my drink?
How are you doing today, dear?
I'm doing fantastic.
Long, short week?
Oh my God, I hate them.
Yeah.
I really do.
Still got the same amount of work you got to get done in one less day.
Yeah, exactly. So Friday Eve, we're getting there.
There
we're
you
getting
go.
there.
So, in today's episode, in our Disney Detective, we're going to talk about Disney World having a massive sinkhole where all my money goes.
Right.
And Disney World opts out for a 50th anniversary celebration with zero nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
That should be interesting.
Yeah.
Then in our Tales from the Edge of the Galaxy, Fox memos surface from 1976. And could George Lucas be returning to Star Wars? Dun, dun, dun. In our entertainment news, Taika Waititi and Tessa Thompson wind up in some hot water. And good night, my captain. Then we'll finish up with our insightful picks of the week. But before we do that, I would invite folks to subscribe to the podcast. You can get audio versions of the podcast listed as Insights into Entertainment. You can also get video versions of all the network's podcasts listed as Insights into Things. Both are listed on Google, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon, Pandora, etc., etc. I would also invite folks to contact us, give us your feedback, tell us how we're doing. You can email us at comments@insightsintothings.com. On Twitter, we are at insights_things. You can get us on Facebook at facebook.com/insightsintothingspodcast. We are on Instagram at instagram.com/insightsintothings, or you can get links to all those on our website at www.insightsintothings.com. But no Ginsu knives.
No Ginsu knives. Not this week.
No Ginsu knives.
Maybe next time. You never know.
Are we ready?
Sure.
So before we get started.
Right. I was
Right.
wondering.
I didn't put it in the show notes.
I was waiting. I was going to be like.
Right. So why don't you introduce what we're about to show?
So this was something that we had talked about a couple of weeks ago that was going to be returning, and that is the New Jersey Renaissance Fair that is held is that Bordentown?
Yeah, I think it's Bordentown.
Yeah, I think it's Bordentown. It's been at the same location for about 11 years, I think. 10 or 11
that
years?
long,
I
really?
think so.
Wow.
I think it's been there.
Because we've been going since it started.
Right, because we had gone that one year to Wildwood. And
Right.
you want to talk about a Ren Fair on a beach?
Wow. Great
Yeah.
for pirate themes. Nothing else, though.
Yeah, that was probably the worst
Renaissance
version.
in the desert.
That was probably the worst version of the Ren Fair. So yeah, last weekend happened to be their opening weekend. Obviously, last year they didn't do anything for the Ren Fair. They did everything virtually.
Let me run the video while you describe it.
Sure. So and other things going on, even though, the weather wasn't the best for it.
Now, I could take the temperature and leave the rain.
Yes.
So going to a Ren Fair, this is why I think Ren Fairs need to be running throughout, like, the fall and the early part of the winter, so that you can actually come out with all of your costume regalia and not roast while you're trying to enjoy yourself.
Because that's always the problem we run into is between, all the different layers and the cloaks and the hats and the boots and all of that. You can only wear it for so long, during the heat. So the weather was perfect if you wanted to be all, bundled up for it.
Right.
So we enjoyed ourselves.
Yeah, we didn't stay as long as we normally would have. We didn't stay for any of the shows or anything like that. We kind of came, we walked the vendors, we ate.
Right. It was just kind of to have the atmosphere
of it. It was, a get out of the house type thing, kind of like the week before when we went to the Monster Mania. So.
Right. And the other problem too was that while, certain areas they had coverings for you, a lot of the areas where some of the shows were going on, they didn't have anything for you to cover. So a lot of people were walking around with umbrellas, but then all of the seats were all wet. Then you had to deal with having a wet butt if you were going to sit on the seats. But again, still a lot of people there. It was sold out. I'm sure there were probably people that didn't go because of the weather.
Yeah, we made the most of it. I'm glad that we did go. So
yeah, absolutely.
So we'll be right back with our Disney Detective. Go for Disney Detective.
So there's one thing Florida has plenty of, and that's swampy land. So the entire state is obviously heavily, in a wetland habitat, and as any Disney guest can attest to, the humidity in the air as well. So because of the temperature climate, it can be tough to build in some areas of Florida. And one of the biggest problems someone can encounter when building anything in Florida are the many sinkholes that fill the state. A foundation professional had actually noted sinkholes can form anywhere in Florida, but the highest activity level occurs in west central Florida because of the karst limestone environment. There are several influences that increase the risk of sinkhole activity, such as long-term weather conditions, heavily acidic rains, and drought-like conditions. So, if we take a look at Walt Disney World, it seems impossible that an area that is the size of San Francisco doesn't have any sinkholes, which is actually true. So, Walt Disney World actually has a massive sinkhole on property, and it's in the center of Epcot. As in this article, they had referenced Monorail Supply Company's TikTok, where she talks about the sinkhole in Epcot, and that Epcot actually holds the deepest known sinkhole in Florida. So in the TikTok, she explains that the sinkhole caused major issues for Disney when Epcot was being built, and while they were trying to build things, cars and trucks would get stuck in it. And to fix the problem, Disney decided to turn the sinkhole into a lagoon. So the sinkhole can be found in the water under the bridge, which is connecting Future World to World Showcase. What was interesting was that during a Q&A for Epcot's 30th anniversary, Imagineer Marty Skylar had actually discussed the sinkhole, and he had said one of the reasons there's so much space between Future World and the World Showcase Lagoon is that we discovered a gigantic sinkhole near where the Odyssey restaurant is. He went on to say we couldn't build anything on top of it. So if chances are if there's a big giant body of water, you definitely don't want to get lost because you'll get, in the big giant sinkhole. So kind of interesting, to think, because that's one of the interesting things with Disney, because there are so many water aspects that are man-made.
Right,
and it's like,
right.
okay, so is it man-made because of a big giant sinkhole, or was it, hey, we needed to put something here?
Well, it makes me wonder how safe is the land around the sinkhole that they were able to build on it.
Yeah, that's the thing, because you figure it's been 30 plus years
right.
now.
Like that that foundation has to wear out at some point in time because of all the liquid that you have anyway.
Yeah, so I'm guessing they probably go in and test or do whatever they can, you know.
This is going to convince me to stay away from Epcot now.
Or at least that side.
That
don't
area,
don't
right.
walk on by the Odyssey restaurant.
Right,
Just
right.
walk. Yeah. But yeah, it kind of makes you like, oh yeah, why is there so much space over here and nothing was ever built there? Because it kind of seemed like a prime area to do something.
Well, it's kind of funny that it's coming out now, 30 years later. It almost makes me wonder, like,
was it a secret?
Right. Was it a secret? Are they doing something about it now? Is there a problem with it? Do they inspect it? And are they going to be part of what? Like, because they're doing a big revamp of Epcot. Like, did they discover something during this revamp?
Maybe, or maybe it's like, okay, it's been so many years, we have to go back in and
right.
And
so
reinforce.
It seems coincidental
more? I don't know.
that this information would come out now.
Yeah.
While they're doing the work.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know.
So tell us about the 50th anniversary.
Yeah, so this article talks about how there's, the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World is going to be this October. Obviously, with everything that was going on last year, lots of different things were kind of put on hold. But what was kind of interesting, and what this article talks about, is how, the tagline is Beacon of Magic. And it's lighting we have been promised, for the event, and the song choice is A Whole New World, which was kind of, they said kind of odd for this because there's not a lot of stuff that's going to be new for the 50th anniversary. So you had the delay of Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. That had actually opened in Disneyland Paris in 2014. So it wasn't even like it was brand new ride technology. It was basically a copy of a ride they already had. And that was supposed to open in 2020. So, okay, that got delayed. Then Disney stalled and delayed and halted construction on the Tron Light Cycle ride. That, again, was supposed to be open for the 50th anniversary, as well as the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. And also, the article talks about that Disney actually hasn't hit an opening deadline in many years. So it's kind of like you kind of expect it. But the other thing, too, is you can't be blaming the pandemic for this because Universal Orlando completed their new coaster during the pandemic. And it's as big of a coaster, with zero audio animatronics, but very similar to the Tron ride. And they have that open, and that'll be opening this summer. So, why, are things being, delayed so much? The other thing that it was talking about was that in the commercial, there's no nostalgia about the 50th anniversary. The biggest thing that they kind of do is they kind of have like Easter eggs of 16 different hidden movie references in the commercial. And it's like, well, it's not the 50th anniversary of Disney movies, it's the anniversary of the theme park. Why not show some nostalgia about the park, especially when you have people that are still alive that went to the park when it first opened? It's not such a long period of time where you don't have those people that could add to it. The article also talks about how, for other different things, when they did the 25th anniversary, a lot of the commercials tugged at your heartstrings more about the magic of it all. And it was just kind of like, oh yeah, 50th anniversary. Yeah.
Well, it almost sounds like that the management was caught off guard.
And that could totally
like, oh my God, we didn't know if we were going to be open for this, so we didn't put the effort into it. Disney is under, the head of Disney is under new management.
Right.
So It could just be that style of management that they have.
True.
Disney's not 100% back either.
Right.
So it might be that they didn't want to play it up because it's still a diminished experience.
True.
And
True.
they haven't, reduced prices.
Right.
So there's a lot of factors, I think, that go into it.
Right.
None of them excuse it.
Right.
This is one of those things that Disney excels at typically.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing is you can go back in Disney's history. You can just do a Google search, or a YouTube search of, Disney commercials. And
one nice thing, though, is they didn't uglify the castle yet.
That's true. They made it prettier. They spruced it up.
Usually when they do these celebrations, they make the castle look terrible.
Stop. The 25th anniversary, okay. It was ugly, but there are still a lot of people that, it wasn't so bad for.
Oh, okay.
Big, giant Pepto-Bismol cake. But anyway. But, the good thing is it's still 120-something days away till October 1st. So maybe
they have time to do it right.
Maybe this was kind of the teaser. Usually the celebrations go on.
The other thing is it's possible they've got so many things going on right now that they just didn't plan properly.
Right. And the other thing, too, is the celebration goes on for usually a year and 2 months, So even though the 50th anniversary will be October 1st, maybe by 2022, some of these other things will...
We'll still be in the virtual queue by then.
Here's to hoping. Yeah.
So, all right, We'll see if they pull this one out and actually do it right for the fans.
Yeah.
To me, it doesn't matter one way or the other. I'm not going down there for the celebration. If I'm going down there, it's because you're dragging me down, and I'm just sort of there for the ride. But diehard fans like you deserve to have a proper celebration for it, and there's tons of diehard Disney fans out there that deserve it. And when I say deserve it, I mean because you spend ridiculous amounts of money on the company that they need to pay you back somehow. Mm-hmm. So, don't worry. For your 50th, we're going to make it a big one.
Why? What are we doing?
I don't know yet. I haven't figured that out. Well, for your 40th, we did a big one, though.
True,
so
we did.
I got to top that for your 50th.
Disneyland Paris.
Yeah, don't set your hopes too high on that. So, we'll see. But that was all we have for our Disney Detective. We'll be right back with our Tales from the Edge of My Insanity. For over 7 years, the Second Sith Empire has been the premier community guild in the online game Star Wars: The Old Republic. With hundreds of friendly and helpful active members, a weekly schedule of nightly events, annual guild meet and greets, and an active community both on the web and on Discord. The Second Sith Empire is more than your typical gaming group. We're family. Join us on the Starforge server for nightly events such as operations, flashpoints, world boss hunts, Star Wars trivia, guild lottery, and much more. Visit us on the web today at www.thesecondsithempire.com. Go for Tales from the Edge of the Galaxy.
Not the edge of your insanity. So oftentimes when we hear about studio notes and memos for classic films, such as Back to the Future or Blade Runner, it's because the people that were involved with the production or release didn't think that the movie would actually be such a success, or they believed in it. So, obviously that's kind of the case for Star Wars. So some memos that actually were just kind of released to Twitter just last week from 20th Century Fox had surfaced online. And what was kind of interesting was how positive they were about the movie. So the author and documentarian, who I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name because I'll probably totally... You want to try?
Charles de Lerzerica.
Sure. He had posted the images, which included some choice excerpts by 20th Century Fox VP of Domestic Distribution, Peter S. Myers, that said, quote, Alan Ladd Jr. saw a rough ensemblage without music, special effects, or dubbing, and as conservative as he is, he just flipped, claiming that it is the best picture he has ever seen. They claim the picture has a look never seen on the screen before, and that it is so believable you feel like it is other than the present, even though the location and equipment are space in the year 2000. I think that's kind of funny. 2000 plus. He goes, I'm saying this picture should be better, should get a better treatment than The Godfather, King Kong, Jaws, The Poseidon Adventure, or Towering Inferno. So the memos were actually previously published, which now have been deleted on StarWars.com. So George Lucas, obviously we know, is no longer linked with the franchise or with Lucasfilms, because he obviously sold it to Disney in 2012. But, you know, what's kind of been nice is that he's still kind of been a little bit active, and one of the things we saw was during The Mandalorian, he was there a couple of the days while filming, and one of the things that Jon Favreau has said is that he would be giving Dave a hard time about how many setups he was getting and how fast he was shooting, and arguing him to go faster. He said he was like a boxer's cornerman coaching him, but always with a twinkle in his eye. So it's nice to see that he's still looking out for it, but it was kind of interesting to see that even back in the early 1970s, before the movie came out, they thought it was going to be a hit.
Well, and it's funny because they kept slashing the budget.
Right.
So it was going to be a hit from these early treatments that they saw, and the fact that it was 2,000 plus. But we all know it's not.
Right.
Because it's in it's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Right.
But, you know, what they describe is really that unique feel of Star Wars, where it's a lived-in universe. You didn't find that anywhere else. Everywhere else that you saw something that was space or futuristic or something like that, it was always this pristine, clean environment, and everyone was properly dressed, but you didn't get that. What you got when you saw Star Wars was the Old West in space.
Yeah.
It was that, and that grittiness, that rundown look. The Millennium Falcon,
right?
You know, looks like a
hunk
flying
of junk.
hunk of junk.
Right.
Yeah. But it makes it look realistic.
Right.
And that was something that Lucas at the time really tried to go for the authenticity. Because you remember, prior to this, you had American Graffiti, you had THX, which was a futuristic thing that was pristine. So he had kind of touched on some of these genres already as he started to pull all this stuff together.
Well, not American Graffiti. That was set in like the 1950s.
Well, no, I'm saying that's
right. That's what he was known for.
Right. He hadn't done anything like this.
This was a new foray for him. Right. No, I get it.
So when he came into this, and it was such a unique look to it for a futuristic space opera. Right. You know, that opening scene alone, you know, just the ships flying overhead. You know, you get the Tantive 4 flying overhead, and it's like, wow, that's cool. And then you get the Star Destroyer, and it's flying over, and it's flying and flying and flying, and it's huge. Right. You know, that was the kind of presence. The crawl, you know, the title crawl that comes up where you don't get your regular credits. You know, it was so revolutionary at the time that nobody had seen anything like it. Right. That score, my God, you couldn't come up with a better score to start the pace of the movie. He was firing on all cylinders, and they didn't even see any of that stuff yet.
Right, because none of that was in
right.
those treatments.
They got to see some of the shots of, the cantina or Luke's house or, the Millennium Falcon. Like, they saw just the raw footage.
Right.
And could get that feel. Everything else after that was just icing on the cake.
Mm-hmm.
So, very cool. Very cool to see that insider stuff sort of surface like that. So, there's a rumor.
Yeah, so this, was coming out. So, obviously, George Lucas sold his space opera franchise to the Walt Disney Company, as I said, in 2012. Star Wars fans weren't sure exactly what was going to happen to their beloved characters, like Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia and Han Solo.
They were just going to pointlessly kill them off.
Oh, unfortunately, yeah. So, obviously, Disney's Star Wars sequel trilogies proved to kind of not
suck.
Okay, I wasn't going to say it. Left moviegoers unhappy, with the original core trio and the general lack of direction of the three films. So Lucas had publicly acknowledged that he expected to have more say in the Star Wars sequels, which were directed by J.J. Abrams, your best friend Rian Johnson, and then Abrams again. And also in the development of the new characters like Rey, Finn, and Poe. So Lucas...
Sounds like you just cursed me out in some foreign language. Rey, Finn, Poe.
Rey, Finn, Poe. That is kind of funny. It's going to be like our new family curse or something. So Lucas has also shared that he had already began writing his own sequel trilogy in which Princess Leia would have emerged as the chosen one and would have had Darth Maul's apprentice, Darth Talon, as the villain. So in recent years, rumors of Lucas's official return to the Star Wars universe has been swirling around online, and these obviously intensified after he was seen on the set of The Mandalorian with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. And actually, according to IMDb, his name was included in the writing credits for the Rogue One prequel show Andor, which I didn't realize. So now it's kind of like, is he coming back? Is he going to try and take over some control from, Kathleen Kennedy, which, of course... That's been a swirling rumor that's been going on for ages that they've been trying to oust her. So is it something where, he's going to come back? Is he consulting or whatever? Obviously, this is all rumors. There's nothing that's been, confirmed by the Disney company or Lucasfilms. Obviously, one of the last things, Bob Chapek had recently announced that Kennedy's tenure with Disney would continue for the foreseeable future. So, she's not going anywhere anytime soon, but who's to say, something else might not happen. Obviously we know that there are a bunch of different, Star Wars shows that are in development. Obviously, we talked last week that the one wasn't going to be going forward, the Rangers one. But that Patty Jenkins' Star Wars Rogue Squadron is set for 2023, and that's supposed to be the next movie installment in the story. So, obviously there's a whole bunch of other things going on. You have Rian Johnson, who's supposed to be doing...
Stop. Just don't even mention that. Don't even mention that.
That trilogy by that guy that you don't like. And then, of course,
I can feel the bile already backing up as soon as I hear his name.
And then Taika Waititi is supposed to be scouting some locations.
So this image here, unfortunately, I'm having trouble with the full screenshot, so we'll have to kind of walk folks through it.
Sure.
But you have Kathleen Kennedy on the stage here, and there's a backdrop that has all of the various projects that she's introducing at this convention or this
right. That was
here.
The Investors Day.
And you've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 projects.
Okay.
That's a problem.
Right.
14 projects. Mm-hmm. One of which we know is not happening anymore.
Right.
That's a management problem is what that is. Because at that point in time, you're totally, and of those,
But not all of them are Star Wars, though.
2 of them aren't three of them aren't Star Wars.
3 aren't Star Wars.
So of
Yeah.
14 projects, you have 11 Star Wars projects.
Yeah.
Can we say saturating the market?
Right, and that's what we've talked about
And-
time and time again, is that...
But the problem is they tried it already with the movies and
Right, and
they
it
got
didn't work.
slapped down for it. So
Right.
why would they think that doing it through Disney Plus is any better?
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing, too, is it... Well, Rangers of the New Republic, that was supposed to be live action?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's dead. Bad Batch, we know, is animated.
Animated.
Obi-Wan is live action. Andor, we know,
was
is...
live action. Rogue Squadron was supposed to be live action.
Okay, well, The Mandalorian is a continuation, so that really
Ahsoka
doesn't...
was live action.
Okay.
Lando was supposed to be live action.
Okay, Droid Story, was that supposed to be...
That I can't imagine. I suspect
That's
that was
probably-
animated.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I could see doing the, hey, we're making the kids stuff, we're making...
It's Star Wars.
I
It's all
know.
kids stuff. It's always been about the
I
kids.
know.
That's one thing George Lucas will tell
Right,
you.
right,
So this is the problem that I have with Kathleen Kennedy.
yes.
She has this shotgun approach. Let's throw all the spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks.
Right.
Oh, we've got 50 pieces. We're throwing 2 pieces stick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's let the rest fall by the wayside. And you can't do it like that. Not
Right.
Star Wars, because all the other stuff that doesn't work doesn't just like fall by the wayside and get ignored. You're ruining the universe. There's a very well, it used to be well-crafted. There was a very well-crafted universe that had some level of continuity. And when you keep throwing all these things out there just because you're looking for the next Mandalorian because you want another hit,
Right,
and they don't even have Book of Boba on here.
right.
We know that's already confirmed and in there, so that's one
Maybe
more.
that took the place of,
So George Lucas had the right idea, but pissed the fans off because Lucas always left you wanting more.
Right.
We'll give you a little bit here. Wait 3 years for the next one. Oh, here's another one. Wait 3 years for the next one.
Right.
I'm kind of done right now. Wait 15 years for the next one. All right, that was agonizing.
True.
But we managed to get through it.
Right. We did.
But this whole idea of throwing so many things out there at
Right.
once is a problem. I welcome Lucas coming back in because you can see his influence on The Mandalorian already. It looks like Star Wars. It's a hit.
Yes.
The only thing I ask is don't, for the love of God, don't let him write love scene dialogue. That is that is where he just falls flat on his face there. Let him do anything else he wants.
True love. Wait.
I cannot sit through another Padme Anakin love scene. It's like fingernails on a blackboard the way he writes those. So I don't know. Maybe now that he's remarried and everything,
Right,
maybe
maybe
he can write
that's-
love better.
Right. Maybe that was
I
the
don't know.
problem. He wasn't in love back
Right.
then.
So anyway, we'll see. It would be interesting to get him back. I think he made a mistake selling it in the first place. I think Disney's doing everything they can to exploit it, and it shows.
Right.
So, but had Disney not done it, you would have never had what you got down at the parks now.
Absolutely. Yeah. Galaxy's Edge.
You would have been
wouldn't-
stuck with
Star Tours.
Star Tours, and that's it. So, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah. Yeah.
With Ryan Johnson, it's just it's more than 3 edges with Ryan Johnson, and all of them are cut you at the same time.
Do we need a curse jar for that?
I'm holding it back as best as I can,
I
but
know.
anytime his name is mentioned,
I know.
it gets the blood pressure going. So,
Let me go get the cup for you.
so that's all we have for our Tales from the Edge of the Galaxy. We'll be right back with our entertainment news.
Insights into Teens, a podcast series exploring the issues and challenges of today's youth. Talking to real teens about real teen problems. Explore issues from braces to puberty, social anxiety to financial responsibility. Each week, we talk about the topics concerning today's youth. we look at how the issues affect teens, how to cope with these issues, and how parents, friends, and loved ones can help teens handle these challenges. Check out our video episodes on youtube.com/insightsintothings. Catch our audio versions on podcast.insightsintoteens.com or on the web at insightsintothings.com.
Go for entertainment news.
Haha, I didn't do it. So it seems that one of our favorite Star Wars / vampires / directors, I don't know, what else is he,
Probably better stop calling him names.
Probably. Taika Waititi is reportedly been reprimanded by Disney for some racy photos with Tessa Thompson. And there were a bunch of different articles, too, that talked about Tessa Thompson kind of getting reprimanded for her racy photos as well. So it seems that, obviously we know Disney is famous for fiercely protecting its family-friendly reputation, which is why the studio has often had no hesitation of letting go of key talent who cause an unwanted stir online.
Really? Should we tick down the number of former child stars that are the least bit family-friendly today?
Right, but the thing is, most of them don't work for Disney anymore.
Disney grooms them to go into what they do.
So it seems that the Marvel director, Taika Waititi, recently became the talk of Twitter when some paparazzi photos depicting him in a romantic moment with both actress Tessa Thompson and singer Rita Ora went viral. Obviously, this is his private life, and he's just a victim of some unwanted attention from the press, but this revelation about what appears to be a polyamorous relationship between the three individuals has nonetheless ruffled some feathers at Disney HQ. So the Daily Telegraph of Australia is reporting that the studio has reprimanded him over the racy photos coming to light. Specifics of the telling off that the filmmaker received from Disney have yet to be revealed, so it's unclear how much trouble he's actually in. However, the outlet does note that this is not exactly the image that the studio is looking to project in relation to one of their biggest franchises. The other thing is that execs were always aware of his party animal reputation, but they feel that this situation kind of crossed the line. The photos were actually taken outside of his home in Australia, where they're filming, where actually I think they just finished wrapping Thor Love and Thunder. And it seemed, so obviously Tessa, is reprising her role of Valkyrie, and it seems that Aura is either believed to be involved with some production or a brief cameo in the movie, and that's why she was there as well. So obviously we know he is one of the most popular directors around at the moment in terms of both public appreciation and industry acclaim. So something tells us, that Disney wants to kind of keep him on board despite any problems with that they might have with his private relationships being exposed like this. But as always, we just kind of need to wait and see what happens.
So again, this kind of goes back to the stuff that we had talked about with Gina Carano, where there's morality clauses and stuff like that when you work for a company like Disney.
Right.
I don't know if this type of thing would really be covered under that.
Yeah, it's kind of, and the other thing too is how much of it was, did they know, we're being recorded, let's kiss. That's all they did. Right. That's literally all they did. That's all you can see in the photos. Who's to say it wasn't just a friendly peck where they made it out to be something else? Because in the one article that talked about, that was mainly focused around Tessa Thompson, was talking about how just earlier that day she was supposedly kissing her boyfriend, or this guy that maybe she's seeing who happened to be on the set.
Sure.
And then later on the day, he or she's with the other two, and now there's photos of them all kissing. So,
right. And that's the thing. Like, a photo can very easily be taken out of context.
absolutely.
You know, when you had the history of tweets that Gina Carano had, there's a pattern.
Right. That's a completely different thing.
And you're deliberately trying to put your point of view out publicly at that point in time. You're using your notoriety to do it. I don't know under what context these pictures were taken. Was he posing? Did he know they were taking pictures?
Right.
Was it on purpose?
Did they know? Or was it something where, all right, there's paparazzi out there. Haha, let's be cute.
Right. And he's always goofing off and joking around, stuff like that. So I would have chalked it up more to that than anything else.
Right.
And I'm not trying to make excuses for him.
Oh, absolutely.
If he violated his morality contract and they have a reason to reprimand him, by all means, go ahead and do it if he's not performing the way that you want.
Right.
I just don't know if this is one of those things that you can cover under morality.
Right.
Even if you did, you got rid of well, I don't want to say got rid of, but you terminated your contract with one person for expressing hatred views.
Right.
Now you're going to reprimand somebody for expressing love?
Right, exactly.
What? Like,
okay.
What's the logic behind that?
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's.
If anything, good for him.
Yeah, I think you're blowing things out of. They're blowing it out of proportion.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree.
So, and I'm probably going to take heat for being one-sided on this, but it's Taika Waititi. He's awesome. So.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing is, he's a party guy. You can tell that, from seeing things that he's done. But right now, between, Thor Ragnarok and, what he did on The Mandalorian, you have him, working on finishing up, the new Thor, a Star Wars.
The most important thing about Taika Waititi is he's not Ryan Johnson.
See?
He gets a pass for just about everything just for that.
He can do whatever he wants.
Just for that.
Right, yeah.
So what's our next article?
Yeah, so this was kind of some sad news. So actor Gavin Macleod of The Love Boat and Mary Tyler Moore had passed away at age 90. He was known for his roles on The Mary Tyler Moore Show, Love Boat, and he actually passed away on Saturday. His nephew had reported to Variety. His birth name was actually Alan C., but in his memoir, Your Captain is Speaking, he wrote that he considered changing his name because it was too confusing, and actually changed it to honor an acting teacher. He also wrote that he had to deal with premature hair loss going bald in college. After a busy career of bit parts in television and film, he first achieved fame as part of the ensemble of The Mary Tyler Moore Show, a breakthrough sitcom in which he played news writer Murray Slaughter. Murray often served as a confidant to Moore's character, rolling his eyes at the clueless anchor Ted Baxter, and absorbed the fierce temper of the news director Lou Grant. On Twitter, actor Ed Asner, who played Grant, wrote, "My heart is broken. Gavin was my brother, my partner in crime and food, and my comic conspirator." Asner noted that Macleod's death leaves him and Betty White as the only two living principal cast members of The Mary Tyler Moore Show. Following the end of that program in 1977, he moved into a starring role on The Love Boat, which, if you don't know what The Love Boat is, then I don't know who you are anymore.
Dead to me.
You're dead to me. He got top billing as Your Captain, the dedicated and friendly Meryl Stubing. The boat pulled into port for its last time after 9 seasons, but he continued to embrace his character, making public appearances in costume. He also actually served as ambassador for Princess Cruises, the company that provided the ships that were used in the series. Princess Cruise Line actually had said, all of us send our heartfelt condolences to his entire family and offer our sincerest gratitude to them for sharing Gavin with all of us for so many years. After Love Boat, he became an evangelical Christian, and he credited his faith with allowing him to end his abuse of alcohol and reconciled with his wife Patty, whom he remarried in 1985. The cause of death had not been released as of Saturday.
You know, he used to do bit parts on Hogan's Heroes, and I'm a big fan of Hogan's Heroes, and that was where my initial exposure to him came from. But everyone remembers him from Love Boat.
Yeah.
You know, that was really the role that he made his own, where he got the lead there.
Yeah.
And it gave great references when Next Generation came out and they had a bald captain of the Enterprise that was referred to as Captain Stubing. So,
Right.
but yeah, he was a great actor.
Yeah.
It's a shame, but 90 years old, great
Not-
career.
Not too shabby.
That's certainly something to be proud of. So he left his mark on the world.
And you can catch reruns of, Love Boat on MeTV. I'm sure there's other channels as well that are
Absolutely.
showing it as well.
Absolutely. So we'll be right back with our insightful picks of the week. Go for your insightful pick.
So my insightful pick this week is the Kaminsky method. It's the premise of the show is acting coach Sandy Kaminsky and his best friend Norman Newlander keep each other laughing as they navigate the ups and downs of getting older. He may be in his twilight years, but the aging acting coach isn't ready to ride off into the sunset just yet. The once famous Kaminsky and his longtime agent and best friend Norman Newlander keep each other laughing as they tackle the curveballs that life has thrown at them while navigating their later years in Los Angeles, a city that values youth and beauty. The Netflix original sitcom has a strong Hollywood pedigree. It was created by multiple Emmy winner Chuck Lorre and stars Oscar winners Michael Douglas and Alan Arkin as Kaminsky and Newlander. So it's a American comedy dramedy. It's streaming on Netflix. There's actually 3 seasons currently. The first season actually premiered in 2018. Then in January of 2019, it was announced that it was going to be renewed for a second season, which premiered in October of that year. And then last July, it was renewed for a third and final season, which just premiered at the end of May. I think I just started season 2. And it's kind of a quirky, funny, show with these two, main characters going back and forth. His best friend, his agent, his wife passes away in like the first or second episode, and he kind of still sees her and still talks to her, and she's kind of still a main character, I guess, in some respects, and you kind of go through the back and forth of their friendship as they're getting on in age. So has some funny moments, has some touching parts, as well, and again, Michael Douglas and Alan Arkin, so can't go wrong.
Good pick.
Thank you.
So my pick this week is WWE's Most Wanted Treasures, airing Sundays on A&E. WWE's Most Wanted Treasures takes viewers on a journey to find some of the WWE's most iconic lost memorabilia. WWE's Stephanie McMahon and Paul Triple H Levesque lead a team of collectors, WWE superstars, and legends as they navigate, negotiate, bid, and travel across the country to hunt down and reclaim some of the most elusive WWE collectibles. Throughout history, WWE's action-packed storylines has spawned iconic, one-of-a-kind memorabilia, most of which have gone missing. Superstar in training AJ Francis will head out on the road alongside some of the most famous WWE legends of all time, including The Undertaker, Ric Flair, Charlotte Flair, Mick Foley, Kane, Big Show, Mark Henry, Jerry the King Lawler, Booker T, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Jake the Snake Roberts, and Sergeant Slaughter. The series will unearth these rare items in the hopes of preserving and sharing the legacy behind the memorable moments in WWE history. I was a total wrestling geek as a kid, and before Hulkamania and the soap opera storylines that have developed since then. I knew wrestling as the WWF. Back then, it wasn't the World Wildlife Foundation. It was the World Wrestling Federation.
Right.
I used to go over to my grandparents' house and watch it with my granddad, who was convinced it was 100% real, and you couldn't tell him otherwise. The show brings back some of that nostalgia for me. It's less about the items, although some of the items I find are kind of cool. But it's more about the stories that are conveyed by the wrestling legends recruited to hunt down the merchandise. So they do kind of interview segments as they're looking for things and trying to find contacts and stuff like that. And there are times where they go to find it at a collector's house. Sometimes they'll pay a nominal fee for it. Sometimes it's given to them. Sometimes it's just a favor. Like there was one instance where one wrestling fan was a huge Mick Foley fan. And the guy's, whole thing was, okay, well, if I can bring my kids over and have the kids just sit down and talk to you for an hour, you can have it. One was with Jerry the King Lawler, where the one fan, Jerry the King Lawler is actually a very talented artist, and he's famous for doing these doodles and pictures and stuff. And one of the deal was they would get a certain amount of cash for it, but Jerry would actually do a custom piece of artwork for him too. So it's kind of neat seeing that and seeing some of the other talents, seeing where some of these wrestlers are from years ago. So if you've ever been a fan of professional wrestling, the show's worth a watch. There's a lot of history behind it. So WWE's Most Wanted Treasures, airing Sundays on A&E. We'll be right back. So I think that's it for today. A lot of stuff to talk about today. We even got the video in for the Ren Fair.
Wow, look at us.
Yeah,
all before the storm.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks in a row. We had something. I don't think we've got anything planned for next week.
Maybe we'll just make up something.
Sure. We're going to Southern Sci-Fi Fest next week.
Maybe we'll just go outside and take videos of
there you
lightning bugs or something. I don't know.
Works.
We'll see.
Anyway, before we go, I do want to remind folks to subscribe to the podcast. You can get audio versions of it listed as Insights into Entertainment. Video versions of all of our podcasts are listed as Insights into Things. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, etc. We also invite you to give us some feedback. Reach out to us via email at comments@insightsintothings.com. That's your line.
Oh, we're also on Twitter at insights_things. Threw me off. I don't know why.
We do this every week. You should know by now.
You would think.
We're on Facebook at www.facebook.com/insightsintothings.
We are on the gram of Insta or Instagram at instagram.com/insightsintothings.
You can get audio versions on the web at podcast.insightsintoentertainment.com.
You can find video versions of all of our podcasts at youtube.com/insightsintothings.
We stream 6 days a week on Twitch at twitch.com/insightsintothings. If you are an Amazon Prime subscriber, you get a free Twitch Prime monthly subscription. We'd appreciate it if you threw that our way.
And finally, if you don't remember any of that information and just want to head to our main website, that is www.insightsintothings.com.
And that's it. Another one in the books.
Have a good week, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.